got one that can see.
There are no limits.
I think they would carve a Negroid head. What would be the significance of that?
To show when these people was arrived to this continent. They tried to demonstrate when they arrived to America, and that was before Christ.
African Americans.
Greetings to you all. Hotep, Shalom, Islam. What up? How you doing? What's going on? It's your brother Rawyal. Here to break down the definition and hidden meaning of the word America. I'm a master artist, master musician, master cipher, strategist. Now, this is all important for breaking down this code that's been hidden for half a millennia. I've decoded and deciphered several codes, but this one is important because you got several groups right now that's vying for that mental space and are bringing in old colonial doctrines that is leading us nowhere fast. And you know these guys are eloquent at leading you off the cliff, or they're really, they can rile you up on a road to nowhere. So this is information, that bring a lot more clarity. And the question that's posed as far as nationality. What's your nationality, brother? What's your nationality is what they ask you. Now, instead of asking you what's your spirituality or how are we soulfully bonded, now that's more important. But the question of nationality is important because when you are presenting a case such as reparations, or just to understand, what you're fighting for, what you're defending, or, that to help you realize that you're not lost, to bring some clarity and focus on your purpose and to prevent more self-hatred and to decolonize the mind of old imperialistic colonial toxins that has brought so much confusion, so this is something that's really, really, really important. This is again, a code that's been hidden for half a millennia, and here we are, as a son of sons, king of kings, God of gods, one of many, but my job as far as deciphering, decoding, and connecting the dots, this is something that we've been doing for eons, ages. But as consciousness, consciousness is similar to the water of high tide and low tide. And, as the tide rises and you have, counter intelligence, counter culture, there's a counter culture to prevent you from knowing that you are the reason, you are the power that keep them in power, and for you to get some more clarity on a grounds to present a case such as reparations and such as teaching your children that this is your land, in a different way, to add on to what Dr. Sertima did, to add on to so many others that they say, have done the research and show that the African and man and woman have been here for millennia, So just to get right into it, this is the video to break down and decipher the code of America. America, the definition, the hidden meaning of the word America. When you ask people, when you see me outside and you're asking people, what is the definition of America? They wind up telling me this. America's Vespucci. Now, the thing is, when you give America's Vespucci as your answer, what you did was you didn't answer the question. You just gave another name. I said, what's the definition of America? And you say Americos. No, America's Vespucci is supposedly, you know, that part is debatable as far as, you know, what America is named after, you know, but at the same time, that is also debatable because, you know, the feminine, the masculine comes from the feminine, not reversed. So when asking the definition of America and they give you the word and they give you, most people will respond by saying Americos Vespucci is the definition of America, which makes no sense because Americos Vespucci is another man's name. America can't be defined by saying another man's name. So we got to take that out. That's not the answer. That's not the answer. That's not how you come up with the answer or the definition. So again, America. All right. But one of the tricks to, or one of the methods that I used to get the actual definition of America was by looking up Americos. And when you look up Americos, you come across the word Henry. Now, the definition of Henry, the definition of Americos, they say, comes from the word Americos comes from Henry. Now, like everybody else, I was like, how in the world do you get Americos from Henry? So I'm gonna show you how they got Americos from Henry, because what they did was, which helped me get the definition, because they broke up the word Henry like that. This is how they broke up the word Henry. And then from there, you just, that's what made it easy. That's what simplified everything. That's what simplified everything. I put the board this way specifically so you can actually put your piece of paper like this, and you can do this, you know, you can walk through this method yourself so you can actually see it yourself. And, you know, of course, you know, we got t-shirts, we got everything available for you to understand. Now, as I break this down, you're going to understand why I say I speak American, made in America, dear America. But when you get up to speed with how and why these words and these codes are hidden and these things are done, you'll realize, you know, how important this moment is. Now, America is broken up like this. Americos. Ricos. Rica. Hen. Re. Now, from hen, I said, also ham came up. Came up. Now, these are Italian, Latin, German. Then I started doing a little more research when I seen these words was coming up, because it started getting a lot more familiar. And then the word eme comes up. Eme. Heinz is another one. But what I was realizing, the pattern, you know, and pretty much this is as deep as some of your social media sites, or your Oxford or your Webster or your Blacks. That's as deep as they might get. They might, you know, they're not going to divide it like this, but this is as deep as they might you might get with them. But just having common sense and having that extra intuitive knowledge, when you start seeing that, you know, the similar words, the similar codes, I knew where they was getting that word from, because as soon as I seen ham. So anyway, all of that stems from this word, chem. And it divided up, because not everybody can say chem, you know, with the pause with the back of your tongue. So they started writing it like chem, or him, because that's how they heard it. Some people heard Kim, some people heard him. And from there, that's when the different pronunciations come in, because every culture have their way of pronouncing words. The same way you would say Jesus or Jesus. That's the same word, but the J is silent and the J came into play later, so forth and so on. But that is the same method that you would go into finding the definition, because as you get to the Romance languages, and a lot of the Romance languages that was dealing with the Enlightenment age, the Renaissance era, and you're getting some of this, the information being passed on through the brotherhoods. The Romance language would put an extra emphasis on a word, and so instead of saying hem or ham, because that's boring in a Romance language, you would say emme. So they would drop the K, they would drop the H, and they would just say emme, emme, emme. So they wrote the way they thought it sounded. They would write it the way they thought it sounded. So they would get to that point, and then until you got to this point, to the emme, 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 which is also just the plain M, me, more, emo. So anyway, that's the different pronunciations of the word, right? Now with Rika, Rigos, Rye, Ro, pretty much all of that you already understand. That's not too difficult to figure out, as far as of course Ra. And then at the same time you would get in the root of that come from this. So now these are the different pronunciations of the word. Now, if you're familiar with the word chem and the Latin word rico, if you're familiar with those words, or even the word, let's just go ham, going ham, son. If you're familiar with those words, you're gonna know that the definition of those words, you're gonna wind up with this word, black. You're gonna wind up with that word right there. Although it can be brownish, it can be dark, it can be color, it can be home, but the bottom line of it, you always wind up with the word black. That's the word that you wind up with. And with rica or rigos, you're gonna wind up with if you know the definition of that, that's either gonna be rich or it's gonna be power. So I like. So in turn, this is how you actually get the actual definition of, when somebody asks you what's the definition of America, your response should be black power. Now this is this is something that's it was mind blowing, because I believe Stokely Carmichael came up with that phrase in a speech, just because at the time they were screaming white power, so he countered that by saying black power, and that became a part of the civil rights and a part of the whole black movement. A part of the whole movement for blacks to gain some steam and self-esteem. At raising up questions about justice and so forth and so on. And at that time, they were screaming, "I'm American." Not blacks wasn't screaming that. You got some of the most racist people were screaming, "I'm American," and go back to Africa and go back to your homeland. Now you realize they were screaming, "Go back to your homeland and the land that they standing on," even though we know they were, invaders and so forth and so on. But how ironic is that the definition of America is black power? That's the genius that goes throughout our blood system, and that's the genius that I'm talking about. Now, this is historic information. This is monumentous is what they say. Now, that information is so important because that's how you get in currency. You're getting currency. The world is running off of this right here. The world is running off of this. Now, where can you find this? You know, is this only locked in one continent? You can, anybody on this earth, you can find this right here. You know, because pretty much that is the root, that is the seed of all, that is a part of the roots of all cultures. You know, that is what powers up all cultures, is this right here. That labor, that energy, those thoughts, those actions, the energy, the creativity of this stemming from this right here. And now, not only do the colonists know that, you know that, and this is something to help you decolonize your mind, to help you have a lot more clarity when that question of nationality comes into play. And you don't have to make something up. You don't have to make up, you know, you don't have to pay, you know, $2,500 and with the bread man, you don't got to all the fast talking and all of that, you know, nowhere fast to, you know, sell your information to the European for you to come back to America so you can be free. And then that's how you're going to do it. You're going to get the money. No, just slow down. No. You're an American. You're an African American. That's important for you to say. That's important for you to claim. That's important for you to claim. You know, everybody's running from that. Everybody's running from that, you know. Everybody's running from that because they don't want you to know that this is yours, you know. Again, Dr. Sertima, you know, did extensive research on you know, the Africans that were here. Extensive research, you know. Now, that's important to know because